Huh? What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Ogreboy, and I'm going to be doing my ranking for all 5 movies in the Die Hard franchise. So I've recently watched and reviewed all of the Die Hard movies over the last month and a half. I was planning on having this done a couple weeks ago and stuff, but I kind of had a little bit of a delay on the last 2 movies and everything, but I thought I'd go ahead and do my ranking. So coming in at number 5 is A Good Day to Die Hard. I just really did not like this movie. Like most people, I feel like this is easily the worst movie in the franchise. And I actually think it's the only one that is a bad movie. Like all the other movies in the franchise, I think are really enjoyable and stuff. This one just was not very good. Bruce Willis was not very good in this movie. Jai Courtney was terrible. And the directing and the action was not very good. And it had some fun action scenes, but for the most part, it was not very enjoyable. It's a pretty forgettable movie and everything. So, A Good Day to Die Hard is number 5, and number 4 is Die Hard 2. This is a pretty decent sequel to the first Die Hard movie. It's kind of a little bit of a rehash of the first one, except in a different setting and everything. Instead of Nakatomi Plaza, this one is set in an airport, but I still really enjoy it. I think it's still really entertaining. The villain isn't as good as Hans Gruber, but he's still pretty good. He's played by William Sadler, and I think he does a good job. I can't remember the character's name, but he does a fine enough job as a character, and it has some really good action scenes and stuff. And Bruce Willis is once again just excellent in here. He's funny and he does a good job in here. I like some of the meta humor and stuff in this, so I think that Die Hard 2 is decent enough. So it's number 4, and number 3 is Live Free or Die Hard. This is one that I've always really enjoyed and kind of felt was underrated. I know that the PG-13 rating got a lot of people mad and stuff, but this was one of the first Die Hard movies. I think that this was the very first one I watched, but this one and the first one were the only 2 that I had seen before I watched all of these movies. So rewatching this one, I still have a lot of love for it and nostalgia for it. It's really entertaining, and I think Bruce Willis is really good in here, even though it's not as foul and stuff. Or he's not able to be as foul as he normally is, and the action is toned down a lot. But what they lack in the violence and gore and stuff, they make up with creative stuff, with like different action set pieces and stuff. So it works. And I like the relationship between John and his daughter Lucy, played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She's excellent in this movie, and I love how that was written in here. And Timothy Olyphant is a pretty decent villain. He's not one of the most memorable villains, but he's still fine for this movie, and it's a good enough movie for what it is. And Justin Long was also a welcome addition. Him and Bruce Willis had really great chemistry together and everything. So Live Free or Die Hard is number 3, and number 2 is Die Hard, the original. Now, I know this is kind of an unpopular opinion, because most people would say that this is the best movie in the franchise, and I can understand that, and I love this movie. It's been one of my favorites ever since I saw it for the first time when I was a teenager. I saw this one and the fourth one close to the same time. I think I saw the fourth one a little bit before I saw this one, but I watched this one a lot on repeat when I first got it on VHS. I wore that videotape out and everything, and I just love this movie. I think it's a really entertaining movie. Alan Rickman as Hans Gruber is easily one of the best action movie villains. He's just absolutely perfect in here, and Bruce Willis as John McClane is absolutely perfect too, and he has a lot of really cool lines, and I love the Christmas setting, and the tone of the movie is just really well done, and it's a really fun action movie and stuff. It was really entertaining, and there's a reason why this movie has a big cult following and everything, and I can completely understand why people love this one as much as they do. So, and it is one of my favorites as well. So, Die Hard is number 2, and it's barely number 2. Like I said, this one in my number 1 spot, they could swap places if on rewatch. I mean, it's hard to say, but because they're about neck and neck with each other, to be honest. But if I had to choose one over the other, I think this one would be number 2. So, coming in at number 1 is Die Hard with a Vengeance. There's one thing that makes this movie, to me, even better, and that's the dynamic between Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson. They are just so much fun to watch together, and they really make this movie as fun as it is. Plus, I love that, like, this was the first one where it's not set in an isolated setting and stuff, where they're having to go throughout New York and solve these puzzles and stuff, and the big reveal of Hans Gruber's brother being the main villain of the movie, Simon Gruber, played by Jeremy Irons, who is just absolutely perfect in the role. He's a really great villain too. I think this movie works really well, and they got the director from the first one, I think his name's Joel Materin or something like that, I think is his name. He's really great at directing these movies, and getting him back to direct it, I think, helped make this movie work so well. And if they would have ended the franchise with this one, it would have been a really great trilogy and everything. And fortunately, we did get a couple more, and as much as I love Live Free or Die Hard, it was one of those that I could have lived without, but I'm still glad we got. It was a good enough sequel to this movie and everything. But I do kind of feel like Die Hard should have ended with this one, and it would have been a great trilogy. I hope if they ever do another Die Hard movie, they find a way to write in Samuel L. Jackson and bring him back. Maybe bring back Justin Long and Mary Elizabeth Winstead and stuff, and make a good ending if they decide to do another Die Hard movie. I don't know that they will, because they were talking about doing one, and I think Disney canceled it once they bought Fox, so I doubt we'll ever get another one and everything, which is a shame, because this franchise deserves to have a redeeming movie to go out on a high note. But really, 4 out of 5 movies being really entertaining and fun is still pretty decent, in my opinion. But and it's very rare for the third movie in a franchise to be one of the best ones too, so this is definitely one of those best threequels out there as well. I absolutely love Live Free or Die Hard, and it's easily my favorite of the franchise. But anyway, let me know in the comments how you would rank the Die Hard movies if you want. If you don't want to do your full ranking, tell me your favorite and least favorite. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.